Oklahoma Sooners football coach Lincoln Riley cleared up some speculation on how his plans for the quarterback position in 2020 are going to go following the 63-28 loss to the LSU Tigers in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl last month. He said he absolutely does not plan on going through the ordeal of recruiting a grad transfer quarterback out of the portal to lead the Sooners like he did almost a year ago when he brought Jalen Hurts to Norman after an outstanding career with the Alabama Crimson Tide. This rules out Houston Cougars quarterback D'Eriq King and former Wake Forest quarterback store-brand Cam Newton Jamie Newman. But with the decommitment of 2021 five-star quarterback Brock Vandagriff, the knowledge that Riley has just 2 scholarship quarterbacks on the roster to start 2020 has come into focus. There's still the chance that 2020 quarterback Chandler Morris could announce his commitment and sign with the Sooners in February. Even if Morris's commitment occurs, that means OU will have just 3 scholarship quarterbacks on the roster when you'd normally like 4, and that leaves Riley looking to recruit and cultivate yet another 2021 prospect. Sights might be set on 2021 Gonzaga triggerman Caleb Williams, but it's going to be tough for Riley to beat out LSU, who has already achieved what Oklahoma has not in earning entry into the college football playoff national championship game, despite having 4 times the number of opportunities as the Bayou Bengals. For Oklahoma, now the issue at hand becomes the development of redshirt freshman quarterback and 5-star Spencer Rattler. Riley put Rattler into the Peach Bowl against LSU with just minutes left to play. It was a curious decision considering redshirt sophomore Tanner Mordecai was listed as the backup on the depth chart and has more experience at OU and with Riley than Rattler does. Riley told some media members he'd given Rattler and Mordecai an equal amount of repetitions throughout bowl practices, with the knowledge that, at most, OU had just 2 games left to play and Rattler's redshirt status was protected. With time running down in Atlanta, Riley claimed he was going to put Mordecai into the game as soon as Rattler picked up a first down. He said he went with Rattler ahead of Mordecai because Rattler had played the least number of snaps up to that point. Conventional wisdom would lead most football lovers to assume a head coach and an offensive coordinator would like to see the quarterback most likely to start the season get the most repetitions. Even so, leading with Rattler ahead of Mordecai also looks like you're signaling Rattler as the heir apparent to Hurts. Riley claimed that was not the case and not the way he'd ever evaluated a quarterback derby before. He went further, saying Mordecai was named the backup in August because he was farther away and ahead of Rattler in August. That might not be the case in December, maybe. Add to this, Riley doesn't put much stock into depth charts anyway. Against Houston, he issued a public depth chart with eye emojis, where players and positions usually are. That stunt not only teased fans and media members, but Cougar coach Dana Holgorsen, who refused to release a depth chart in response to Riley's troll move. I've always released a depth chart, Holgorsen said. I'll release one, Why they don't put one out is kind of silly to me. Silly to me too, Dana. If they're not putting one out, I ain't putting one out. I guess I'll put one out with those little funny eyes and stuff like that, end quote. Riley can be as secretive as he is articulate, and it's telling what he chooses to talk about at length and what he chooses to flat out say he's not talking about anymore. For example, he'll go on at length about how he felt jammed up by the new recruiting calendar while preparing for a conference championship and refuse to talk more about suspensions to a starter, 2 important contributors to his team in the lead up to the biggest game of the season, and so on. Now he's in a position where he needs one of his young quarterbacks to come through. Although he's quick to point out Baker Mayfield was at OU when he arrived, the knock against Riley is still he hasn't developed a quarterback he recruited out of high school at Oklahoma into the kind that Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and Hurts have become Heisman finalist at a minimum, since, we're all counting. With Rattler's talent and pedigree, Riley will need 2019's consensus number 1 quarterback recruit to pan out. After all, number 2 ranked quarterback in the 2019 class, Auburn's Bo Nix, he knocked off a top 5 Alabama team in the Iron Bowl as a true freshman. The top 2 quarterbacks in the class prior to Rattler's in Clemson's Trevor Lawrence and Ohio State's Justin Fields, 2018, each made the playoff in their first year as starters. And Lawrence is 25-0, does not know what it means not to play in the national championship. While the Sooners and the defense gave up 692 yards offense to LSU, the Sooner offense was held to just 322 yards, which is 232 yards beneath their season game average with Hurts. The offense was at fault as much as the defense was in the Peach Bowl. Rattler threw for an Arizona State record 11,083 yards in high school with 116 touchdown passes. He's come to Norman to follow in the footsteps of the 3 quarterbacks who preceded him. Perhaps no one needs him to prove he's as good as many of us think he is, more than Riley. But one thing is for sure, Rattler showed up to Norman looking to shoulder such high expectations. And if he wins the job, and I think he will, he should be worth the price of admission. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.